and loves to ponder the questions with an open heart. She has also been a participant in a number of theater groups for even longer as an actor, director, lighting designer, and stage manager throughout the Midwest and in NYC. Risa. The Te of Piglet.
Good morning. I am so happy to be here to continue talking about Taoism. In the fall, I talked about the concept of Wu Wei as embodied in Winnie the Pooh, a bear who lets the world come to him. He does not try to enforce his wishes on the world. He's flexible, he is pliant, and he survives. Today, I'm going to talk to you about his friend, Piglet. If you recall, in the Winnie the Pooh stories, there is one called Winnie the Pooh and the Blustery Day, which I found to be delightfully connected to the weather we are currently experiencing. So forgive me if it is in any way connected to my sermon today. In Winnie the Pooh and the Blustery Day, well, it's a day very much like today. And in the 100-acre woods, it is raining and raining and raining. There seems to be no end in sight. And all of the animals decide that it would be a grand idea to go to visit Owl. Owl lives in a tree. And they go, they knock on the door, Owl lets them in, and it continues to rain and rain and rain. And Owl suggests perhaps they would be better off if they ventured into the upper floor of the tree. So they do. And it continues to rain and rain and rain. Everyone is getting pretty nervous. They look out the window and they can see the water. What are we going to do? There is a nervous silence. Owl has an idea. Owl says, I know what we'll do. We'll open the window, we will take my umbrella, we will turn it upside down and make it like a boat. And then we will put Piglet in the umbrella and push him off, and he will go find Christopher Robin. I believe this is the solution. Well, it might be a solution, and it was a pretty good idea. But Piglet wasn't so sure. Piglet, as you all know, is very small, right? He doesn't like being very small. It makes him nervous. It makes him hurry. It makes him worry that he'll be overlooked, that he'll be left behind, that he won't be thought to be important enough. But this is the moment. This is the moment for Piglet to shine. Now, in order for him to shine, he has to be very, very, very brave. And that is very hard to do when you are very small and very frightened. But with the encouragement of all his friends, he climbs out the window and into the upturned umbrella, and it kind of rocks, And Piglet's eyes get very big, but then it settles down, and Owl pushes Piglet away. So there he goes, out into the 100-acre woods with the goal of saving them all. And he does. He does. He reaches Christopher Robin, who was very surprised to see Piglet in an upturned umbrella, knowing what we all know about Piglet. But he knows things must be very serious if Piglet has been brave enough to do this job. So he returns. All are saved. All is well. All of the animals are so proud of Piglet, so happy that he overcame his fear, that he saved them all, and that he realized sometimes being small can be of great benefit. Benjamin Hoff writes about Piglet in the Te of Piglet. Benjamin Hoff is someone who is Western, but who grew to love the Eastern philosophy of Taoism. And he found that Taoism was a bit of a challenge for Western minds to wrap themselves around. And he thought and thought and thought and said, is there a way for me to make this easier? Because I love this so much, I want people to understand. So he came upon the idea that by using the characters from Winnie the Pooh, he could explain some pretty complicated ideas to us, Western folks. So, the Te of Pooh is his follow-up book. The Te of Piglet is his follow-up to the Tao of Pooh. What exactly is this concept, day? It could either be spelled D-E or T-E, depending on which translation model you want to follow. It can mean strength, it can mean virtue, it can mean ability. It can mean all of those things. Now, the Taoists believe that all existing things have day, whether they are living or non-material. Rocks have power, strength, and virtue. Acorns have power, strength, and virtue. Acorns want to become oak trees, right? So they strive to do that. Water has day. Water's of particular interest to the Taoists in terms of its strength and virtues. Water can be very soft and malleable, right? Water in its liquid form will take the shape of whatever container you put it into. That's why over the summer we can make fun and interesting ice cube shapes, right? But water is amazingly strong. Water is what carved the Grand Canyon, which is a mighty task indeed. So, my strength or my virtue may have many applications. It may have many sides. All right, what about people? Well, people have a slightly different responsibility to finding their day. We have to look for it. We have to pay attention to those things that we love to do, that we have talent perhaps in doing, that we find ourselves drawn to. That's a beginning sign of what my day might be. So, as a very, very small child, apparently, I began asking questions about everything all the time. Now, this went far beyond, I think, what is normal, right? I just kept asking the questions. I didn't stop. I wanted to know. I wanted to know as much as I could. And if someone gave me an answer, which in my mind triggered another question, oh yes, I asked that question too. Right? I was that person in all of your classes that when the teacher said, well, I think we're done a few minutes early, unless anyone has a question. Yeah, and there were many faces that turned around and looked at me and sighed and rolled their eyes and wished I would, just for once, please not have a question. Please. Nope, never happened. Never happened. It started to happen quite a bit in the different churches my parents and I visited when I was growing up. My parents thought it was important to expose my sister and I to a variety of religious traditions, which I did not know at the time was preparing me to, in fact, become a Unitarian Universalist. At church, in the children's study times, I had many questions. Some of them, I have to admit, were not greeted with pleasure. And that often led to us not returning, maybe, to that particular group. But it wasn't until I was in college that I took my very first philosophy class, and then it all became clear. It's like, oh, this is what I want to do. I could do this. I could ask questions. I could ask them all the time. Great. This is for me. My journey with that part of my strength continued, right? It continued as an undergraduate, it continued in graduate school, it continued as a teacher, it has been continuing as a teacher. Taoists believe we have an obligation to find out what our strengths and virtues are. We are obligated to do this by virtue of being human, because we're not like acorns. We're not like water. It doesn't just happen. We have to be paying attention to who we are, to what we like, to what we're drawn toward. And sometimes we have to pay attention to the things about ourselves that we might not like so much, like Piglet. Piglet did not like being small. If you have read these stories, you know this is true. He kind of hated it. He saw no value in it. He thought, in fact, it was a hindrance, that it made him less valuable to himself and to his community. And he often acted that way. And he needed his community to encourage him, which they did many, many times. But it wasn't until that day, that very, very blustery day, that Piglet finally knew that being small was an amazing virtue, even though he didn't really want it. He learned that day, D-A-Y, that it's what was necessary to save his community. So the Taoists encourage us to not only think about the things we love and are drawn to, but maybe think about some of the things we're not so excited about ourselves. There might be a way in which those things could become helpful to others. I used to be terribly afraid of needles. Like really, really afraid. It took me until I was 31 years old to have blood drawn. I worked with a really good therapist who helped me through desensitization. She gave me a little syringe to carry around with me. She told me I had to name it. I didn't even want to touch it. She told me to name it. I named it Dare. Partly because of that song from Godspell. I'll put a pebble in my shoe. I'm going to name the pebble Dare. What I have found since I have learned how to donate, get injections, have surgeries, and all kinds of other things, is that I have run into many people who also are very afraid of needles. And somehow that will come up in a conversation. And I will tell them about the process for me, right? That there's a cream you can get called EMLA. It numbs your skin so you don't even feel it if you're getting blood drawn for a particular reason. And people will then come back to me and say, it worked. I did it. Right? I did it. Thank you. Okay. So needle phobia is not really one of my yay me kind of things. Okay? But it's turned out that it's helped other people. I tell them it's okay. I've normalized it. I've helped them. Taoists believe that we have an obligation to find our talents, to develop them, to hone them, to make them better, stronger. I continue to do that with philosophy. I've continued to do that with public speaking. I've continued to do that with artistic pursuits, etc., right? It's not like, oh, I have this talent, gee, I've got it, okay, I'm done now. No. Always more to learn, always new things to try, always new things to think about. So we're obligated to do this, according to the Taoists. And we're obligated to do this for a very serious reason. We're expected to use our day to make our community better, stronger, healthier, wiser, happier, more joy-filled, or whatever that particular talent is. We are given it in order to give it away. We are given it in order to share it. Not to keep it all to myself. In my reading today, it mentioned that the sage, the wise person, is someone who really doesn't ever want to be in front, but who ends up being in front. Someone who really doesn't want to hold on to things, but so in turn gives them away. We are strong as individuals because we acknowledge, hone, and give our talents to others, to our community. All of us have day. All of us. Maybe our day changes over the course of our lifetime. Maybe we add other virtues and strengths. Maybe some virtues and strengths fall away. That's okay. That's all good. We all have something to offer. And the world needs every little thing that we can offer it, whether that's the people who are working very, very hard to help our immigrant and undocumented community, whether that's the people who are writing songs about it, or making paintings about it, or collecting funds to help feed people. It's about people who make us laugh, because we can't be serious all of the time. It's exhausting, right? We have to be able to take some pleasure and joy in something. So if the Big Bang Theory makes you laugh, my very dear husband, then you should watch it every doggone day. Because it helps you give your gifts of support and accountability to folks who teach at the College of Staten Island, so that they are accountable to their students, who will in turn go out into the world to make the world better. So, Big Bang Theory on, okay? All of us need those things in our lives that make us happy, that make us peaceful, that make us energized. And all of that is good. So, whatever your day, whatever your talents, continue to search for them, continue to hone them, and please continue to share them with the world, because the world needs all of us. And I want to especially thank Carolyn and Kevin for picking such beautiful music today to help support the theme, and Ruth for picking beautiful meditation quote as well. So, have a good day.
Thank you so much, Risa. That was just wonderful. Now, our closing hymn in your teal hymnal, and that will be 1052, The Oneness of Everything. Kevin, come around this way.
Please rise and sing out. It's good exercise for your lungs. Far beyond the grasp of hands, our light to meet the eye, God that regs of God's mind. There find the key to the harmony in an architecture so entwined. Like the birds whose patterns grace the sky and carry all who join in love expanding, the message of peace will rise in flight, taking the weight of the world upon its wings, in the oneness of everything. Peace is in the dance of trees, who waited for the first breath of wind is yet perceived. Trust in the song becoming one with the dance, and all mysteries can be believed. Songs of lives long last that touch our own are written in the earth ever giving, and now to maintain the harmony into all here worth living, for the oneness of everything. Still we seek to find a truth that we might understand and reduce to terms divine. Vast and immeasurable time and space, all the overwhelmingly designed. Oh, passing years, just might I know the fate that winters in the heart to be reborn in spring, to hear and to feel the pulse of life enters my soul as a song to sing of the oneness of everything.
I invite you to join me in extinguishing our chalice. You can find the affirmation in our order of service. We extinguish this flame, but not the light of truth, the warmth of community, or the fire of commitment. For these we carry in our hearts until we are together again. Closing words. Take this as an invitation, by Birch Q. Take this as an invitation to imagine how wide this world can be, to face the closing doors before us and move toward the opening windows in our lives. Take this as an invitation to remember a critical truth, that none of us have it all figured out, that we help one another grow and change. Take this as an invitation to cross thresholds of challenge, not on our own, not for ourselves alone, but side by side, spirits rising and expanding together. Let us go now to share our gifts and truths with each other and with this world. And so ends our service. Please join us in the parish hall for hospitality.